Okay, so I'm going to summarize the process, and I want to thank Rob Walling for coming up with a stair-step model. I've modified it a little bit, but this is Rob's original idea. At the base level, you start with a small free offering. Free tool, tutorial, resource, kind of what I said. If that works out, you go to the next level, right? Small paid offering, service, plugin, workshop. If that works, go to the next level. Build a simple product that delivers value. If that works, go up to the next level, put more features in, charge more, do a bigger launch. And I'm going to kind of wind down and show you how this has worked with Transistor. First of all, I had a built-in advantage. Remember at the beginning when I said, who are you? Right? Like, what are your strengths? What are your values? What do you want? Well, one of my strengths and advantages is I was already podcasting. I've been podcasting since 2012. This is my first show I did with Kyle Fox called Product People. This is my new show called Mega Maker. And I just launched another show called Build Your SaaS, which is actually a terrible name because people can't tell if it's like SaaS as in sassy or it doesn't work audibly as well. But this is an advantage. I've been podcasting for a long time. I had already seen some of the trends, some of the struggles. And I also noticed something else that was really interesting. So I was getting a lot of people requesting like phone calls, Skype, to pick my brain, and it just became too much. And so I came up with this rule. I said, I live in British Columbia, not in Vancouver. I live like right in the middle of nowhere, like mountains and trees, and I said, if you make it to Vernon, BC, I will buy you a coffee. And it just cut down on all the requests quite a bit. But surprisingly, a lot of people have done this. Already in 2018, I think I've had 4 people do this. And some people fly in for it. It's crazy. And in each case, I'll take them out for coffee, we'll sit down, and they'll look at me, and they'll go, Justin, this is so weird. I say, well, why? And they say, I've been listening to you for years, and I feel like I have a relationship with you, but we've never talked. And that trend, that the fact that it impacted people like that podcasting impacted people like that, made me feel like, there might be something here. Maybe this is worth investing in as a product. It motivates people. There's something going on here. The other thing I noticed is when I launched Marketing for Developers, 75% of the people who bought were podcast listeners. How many of you have ever listened to a podcast that I've done? I just want to see. Oh, holy shit. Wow. Okay. Thank you. So it's a powerful medium. So before I even got to base level, I already had some experience. I had some ground level experience, right? Then I started doing some blog posts and tutorials on podcasting, and they did really well. In fact, most of my stuff isn't very SEO friendly, but the stuff I was doing in podcasting was getting a lot of search traffic. So I was like, this is good. This is a good sign. After that, I graduated to doing some paid courses around podcasting, some paid courses around doing branded content. That was doing really well. And then I just noticed this trend of all these businesses launching podcasts. Startup. This is essentially a branded content piece for Gimlet Creative, right? I'm sorry, Gimlet Media. CodePen has a podcast. There's all these tech companies that are starting podcasts. It's a new channel for them. And then in the growth conference, Brian Casel was saying 64.35%. That is so precise. Of his customers came from hearing him on a podcast. Really good signs. All right, so we're noticing, okay, there's some movement here. We've got some initial validation. Oh, people are willing to pay for this. Well, people are investing a lot of money in branded podcasts. So then we built an initial version of Transistor.fm. We did it in about 6 weeks. I say we, but John built it. And then we sold one paid plan to Cards Against Humanity. And a lot of people say, how did you get this customer? Well, John works for Cards Against Humanity, right? That goes back to what I was saying. Who's already paying you for your time and expertise? So this was a great first customer to have. This show's done really well. They've done about 3 million downloads since they launched. Oh, and the other trend that we noticed, this kind of came up while we were doing this, Google is now ranking and crawling audio. So they're transcribing it in the background and then showing it in search results. And if you're on Android, they'll actually show you the audio episodes in search results too. That's a good sign for branded content, right? Do you get a sense of how I'm kind of layering this up? Like, man, this looks good, this looks good, this looks good. And so after all of that, we decided to add some more features, add some billing features, like be able to charge people without sending them an invoice, and then open up early access. And we did that in the last 2 months. This is kind of what the product looks like today. And this is what our early access invites look like. And this is my last slide. Right now, we have about 56 people. John told me to turn off the early access. We were getting too many. So we had 56 early access customers. They have to put their credit card in, and already there's a 14-day trial, and already 39 people have converted to paid plans. And so that's how we validated Transistor so far. And that's it. That's all I got for you. Thanks for listening, guys.